Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, we're going to continue in our quadratics unit, and we're going to do that by learning how to write quadratic equations. Whenever we hear the word write, we should think of creating. So this video will show you how to create quadratic equations given certain bits of information. The bit of information that we're going to be given is vertex form, and it's going to be our task to create or write an equation that will look like standard form. So let's do a couple examples to see how we would complete these tasks. All right, on the first example, our task is to write a function that is equivalent to y is equal to 3 times x plus 2 squared plus 7. Looking at the top of our screen, we should hopefully see that this equation is given to us in vertex form. And we know it's vertex form, guys, because we have parentheses. Standard form does not have parentheses. So, to simplify this, anytime we think of the word simplify, we should take ourselves back to orders of operations. So I'm going to write PEMDAS off to the side to give me a guide on which operation I should do next. Okay, so in PEMDAS, the very first thing is to handle the parentheses. Looking at my parentheses here, there's nothing that I can combine because I have a variable and constant, so P doesn't really count for PEMDAS. The next step in PEMDAS is to handle my exponent. And I do have an exponent that I have to handle, which is right here. I have x plus 2 squared. I need to simplify that. So I'm going to come off over here to the side and figure out what is x plus 2 squared. From our unit or our understanding of laws of exponents, hopefully we remember that this exponent or power of 2 lets us know that we have two of these binomials. So technically, this is x plus 2 times x plus 2. When we have that, there's two ways to simplify or solve this. We can do a 2x2 box, or we can use FOIL. To be a little bit visual and to review, I'm going to do the box. So remember, your first binomial goes on the left. We have x plus 2. And then our second one goes on the top. It's the same thing, x plus 2. And always remember, we multiply to get inside the box. There's no operation between our two parentheses, so we assume it's multiplication. All right, so let's multiply. X times x will give me x squared. X times 2 is 2x. Coming down here to my second row, 2 times x again is the same, 2x. And then lastly, 2 times 2 is 4. The box is a great organizational method for these problems, so I highly suggest that you lay out your work the way that you see me do in this video. Okay, the box method is very good and very preferred by teachers because it allows you to see along the diagonal that these two x's are like terms, so we are going to have to eventually combine them. So when you write out your answer outside the box, we have, x squared. Well, I don't want to write 2x out twice. Those are like terms, so simplify them. 2x plus 2x will give me 4x's, and then I have plus 4 in the back. All right, so we have simplified our exponent to become x squared plus 4x plus 4. So let's rewrite our problem. Every time you take a step, you always write down anything that was not affected. So I didn't touch that y, it's coming down. Same thing with the equal sign and the 3. But what I have in red in the box is going to be replaced with what I actually got outside of the box. So let me write down what that looks like. So I have 3 times, please still keep your parentheses because you are still multiplying, x squared plus 4x plus 4, and then once again, this plus 7 gets copied down because you did not touch it. All right, so we have handled our E and PEMDAS. Our very next step is to figure out how to multiply. And we're going to multiply this leading coefficient of 3 in the front. So hopefully you remember, whenever you see a number in the front, you multiply or distribute inside of the parentheses. So we'll have 3 times x squared. Then we'll do 3 times 4x, and then lastly, we'll do 3 times 4. So we have y is equal to 3 times x squared should give us 3x squared. 3 times 4x should give us a positive 12x. And 3 times positive 4 should give us another positive 12. And please continue to copy down this plus 7 because it was not changed. So we multiply. Do we have to divide? Nope, there is no division. And then the next one would be to add. Looking at our equation that we have, hopefully we can see that we have some like terms that we can add together, and that will be our positive 12 and our positive 7. So I put boxes around them because they are the same. So our final equation will become y equals 3x squared plus 12x. And when you combine those two constants, 12 and 7, that should give you a positive 19. So we have added. There's no subtraction sign, so there's no need to subtract. So if we're done with orders of operation and we have a y equals equation, we have written our equation in standard form. Another way that you can know that you have standard form just by a quick check, looking at standard form, you usually have a x squared term. Then next you will have a x term, and then lastly you will have a c or a constant term, generally speaking. And also remember, there is no parentheses with standard form, so we are done. All right, let's try another one to make sure we get this all down pat. So this time we're writing an equation that is equivalent to f of x is equal to negative 4, there's a negative in the front, times x plus 7 squared minus 6. All right, just because the numbers changed does not mean the process changed. So the very first thing I did on that last problem was write down PEMDAS to let myself know what order of operation comes next. So there's nothing to simplify in the parentheses, so I'm going to forget about the p, but I do have an exponent that I have to handle, and it's x plus 7 squared. So let's see what that is equivalent to. So if I draw out my box, I'm going to put x plus 7 on the left and x plus 7 on the top. Remember, you can FOIL. Okay, let's multiply. X times x will give me x squared. X times 7 is 7x. 7 times x is the same 7x, no matter how you say it. And lastly, 7 times 7 is 49. Okay, always check across the diagonal of your box. 7x and 7x are like terms, so we are able to simplify and combine those when we write out our final answer, which is x squared plus 14x. 7x and 7x gives me 14x's plus 49. Okay, so let's come out and see what that looks like. F of x is equal to negative 4. Instead of writing what I have in a red box, I'm going to write what I got outside of my box, which is x squared plus 14x plus 49, and then I am going to subtract this same 6. All right, so we have handled the exponent. The next thing that we have to do is multiply, and what we need to multiply is the leading coefficient of negative 4. So f of x is equal to negative 4 times x squared will give me negative 4x squared. Negative 4 times a positive 14x will give me a negative 56x. Negative 4 times a positive 49 will give me a negative 196, and then I'm still subtracting 6. So we have multiplied. Next orders of operation is division, but there is no division. And then next is to add. Looking at our problem, we do have things that we can add together, the two constants. Negative 196 and negative 6 are like terms. So when we write out our final answer, we have f of x is equal to the negative 4x squared, is nothing to change there. The negative 56x, there's nothing to change there. Combining negative 196 minus 6 should give us a negative 202. So here we have our final equation. I'll write it all in one color. F of x is equal to And you can change this f of x to y if you feel more comfortable. Remember our lesson on function notation. They are the same. And there we have it. Just do a quick check to make sure that you have standard form, which means that you should have something in front of an x squared, an x term, and a constant term with no parentheses.